out there. I want to do something special for what is Asian Pacific Islander Month, which is the month of May. And as just a few of you know, I am actually Samoan. And one of our cultural things is we do like to cook food. And so this is a really simple recipe that kids love. It's really easy to make. And I thought it'd be great to share with you guys for the month, since we are able to do something at school. Traditionally, second graders, I've actually made some of these recipes for them at the end of the year. I'll do a little lesson in that grade level, but since I'm not able to do that, I thought I'd share it with all of you today. So I am going to make pineapple spam fried rice. And all the ingredients and information are in the links below, but you start off with cooking rice. And you gotta have it made beforehand. I have a little steamer here, and this is 2 cups of rice, uncooked. It makes about 4 cups when it's cooked. And I go ahead and I start. Now, if you're gonna do this, you need to have your mom or dad's help. And I always start off with putting a little bit of oil in my pan. Now, if I was fancy, I'd have a little camera up here, but I don't have that kind of production budget. And first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cook some frozen veggies, some garlic, and some onions. I have them already chopped up, and I'm gonna put them in our frying pan. And I have this on nice and high, and I stir it up, and I cook it down until all the veggies are ready to go. And this usually takes about 2 minutes. As that's cooking, I do want to say also in this PowerPoint have some great information about contributions Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have made to the United States. I happen to have my family from a place that actually is part of America that most people don't know about, and it's called American Samoa. It is a group of islands that are not the furthest out, actually it would be Guam, then Samoa, that are called territories, and they're owned by the United States and have been owned by the United States or part of the United States for many years. And so that's where my dad's family is from and where my dad was born. So we used to make a lot of different recipes, but this one is one that I continue to make for myself, and I'll usually make it once a month, and I'll eat it. I'll usually have it for breakfast because I like to have it with a fresh egg on top. So you go ahead and you cook these down, and then the next thing, because I actually like to also put an egg in this recipe, is I fry an egg in the middle and I scramble it. So I'm going to get my egg real quick. And I take 1 egg, I make room in the middle, and I fry it right in the middle. And that's going to take another minute or 2 to fry. And I just scramble it up so I have the egg flavor in there. Now, of course, I know some of you guys have egg allergies, so if you do, you don't have to put egg in there. I am just used to having it with egg. And the next thing I put in after that is I cook up my Spam. Now, there's lots of different types of Spam. I usually use turkey Spam. There's also like Beyond Spam, and there's regular pork Spam. There's a whole bunch of different flavors, but I usually use turkey Spam. So I go ahead and I start mixing these all together. And because there's so much flavor with the egg and the onions and the garlic and the Spam, I usually don't add anything else, especially because we're going to be using something called tamari, and so that also gives it some more flavor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cover and cook for a couple minutes, and the next thing I'll add is the pineapple. Well, I wish we all had smell-o-vision, because if you could smell this right now, you'd be going crazy. So I did put in those pineapples like I said I was going to before, and now I'm going to add the last couple ingredients. First, I'm going to take all that rice that we cooked, and I'm going to put it with the rice, with the mixture that I've already made. And then I'm going to put in a half a cube of butter, and I'm going to mix it all together. I did have to use a bigger pan because I forgot how much rice I had made. When I make this a lot of times at home is I make a smaller batch. So when I made the full batch, I realized I needed a bigger pan. So I'm going in and I'm mixing in the rice, but I'm chopping it because I don't want it to get too mushy. And gently just pushing it. And now that the butter's starting to melt, and you don't have to use butter. If you also don't eat dairy for the butter, you could always just use oil again. But I do like the flavor of butter, so I go for butter. And I like to use, and you can use something called soy sauce, but I actually like to use something called tamari for my last part. It's gluten-free soy sauce, and it has a lot of flavor, you just have to use a little bit. So the last thing I do is I add my soy sauce, or tamari style soy sauce, and I mix it up again to make sure all that flavor now gets in there. And this will make a whole serving. This is enough to feed a family, and since it has veggies in there, and egg, and fruit, and it has some protein, it's a lot to eat. So this could be like a meal for you, a nice lunch, or like I said, I like to eat it with breakfast, and I cook an actual over easy egg on top of it when I eat it in the mornings. And you're gonna just keep on going until all the sauce is in there, all the flavor is in there. And I'm still doing my method where I push it all together. And it should be a light brown color. Very light, okay? Almost yellowish. Not too much because you don't want to overdo it with the soy sauce or tamari. And in the end, it should look something like this. I'm going to plate it a little bit in my bowl to kind of show you how it looks. It's nice and steamy. A little too hot to eat, but I'm going to try a little piece. Just a little piece to make sure my flavor is good. Perfect. I hope you enjoy my pineapple spam fried rice. Happy Asian Pacific Islander Month to Aloha, which is like an aloha. It's a hello and goodbye for those of us who are Samoan. Bye.